This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good morning, it's Friday, September 26, 2025. Mental health is real. Seek help and end the stigma. On the news this morning, submission of report by Committee on Ogoni Consultation stirs reactions. Nationwide blackout looms as electricity workers down to. Former Vice President and former River State Governor attend high-powered ADC meeting. One person dies while attempting to plant bomb in Imo State. On the foreign scene, former FBI director indicted. Details of these and more after this break. The news. Now let's begin the news this Friday with a form of explanation for you if you have been experiencing power blackout in your neighborhood. The National Union of Electricity Employees is on a nationwide strike over unresolved dispute with the Transmission Company of Nigeria. The action started on Wednesday and is partly the reason you have power outages in your house. Now, this could be prolonged across the country. In a circular signed by its acting General Secretary Dominic Iwebike, the union directed members to withdraw their services indefinitely until long-standing welfare and operational issues are addressed. Now, the demands are the implementation of the national minimum wage, an end to casualization, provision of working tools, and payment of salaries owed since April 2025. Now, let's turn our attention to Ogoniland, where we have a lot of reactions to the submission of a report. Some stakeholders in Ogoniland are reacting to the report submitted by the Presidential Committee on the Ogoni Consultations. The committee, chaired by former Uniport Vice-Chancellor Professor Don Baridan, presented its findings to President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday at the State House in Abuja. Environmental activist Fine-Face Dumnamene told our correspondent Shobi Oruwari that the memorandum should have been validated by the Ogoni people before it was sent to the president.
But where I think that the committee didn't get it right is the area of validation. I think at the moment memoranda has been collected, positions taken, papers presented, they would have put all of those together. And when they harmonize that into a document, then they should have called a new meeting whereby they will present what everybody have said to the people to validate and say, yes, I think that is what was done in 1990 to the federal government.
Also, Dr. Dunamene raised concerns that the report could be challenged in the coming days.
A lot of Ogoni people will contest against some of the positions that have been presented, and that is going to come because the validation workshop wasn't done. That is why a lot of people are going to kick against some things that are presented to Mr. Pence. So there is those dissenting voices may come out within the Ogoni ethnic nationality to say that this particular position presented would not have been there. The possibility of them complaining as well that some positions they are also missing are also there. So that validation was very key.
Another stakeholder, Douglas Fabeke, accused the federal government and oil multinationals of already carrying out exploration in Ogoniland while giving the impression that the process is yet to begin. He made the claim on our sister station, Wazobia.
Right now, oil exploration is going on in Ogoni. You are talking about oil resumption. I am confirming it from the River State government. I was invited in government house and I saw some Ogoni communities.
Mr. Fabeke urged the National Security Advisor to brief the president on the true situation in Ogoni instead of painting a picture that all is well.
NSA is saying this thing, is saying it by all force. You don't say everything is settled. Nothing has been settled. We are going to look into the report and look into the Ogoni bit of right and see what the government are supposed to settle first before they talk about oil exploration. Some certain things are supposed to be done. Don't just come and say, tell president like NSA said, everything is settled. Everything is not settled.
However, he commended the government for honoring the memory of the Ogoni Four. On his part, Ogoni youth leader Lemosi Yamabana says the youth fully support the report submitted to the presidency.
We are on one page as far as this oil and gas exploration thing is concerned. I am the youth president and I see Ogoni stars graduating from tertiary institutions with flying colors, only to end up on the street of Buri, driving Okada. In the midst of this natural endowment that God has given us, there is no reasonable person that will want to come and oppose this move. We are committed in supporting the government and the Ogoni leaders to see that oil start flowing in the land.
Meanwhile, from MOSOP president and co-chairman, Meanwhile, former MOSOP president and co-chairman of the Ogoni Dialogue Committee, Ledu Mite, clarified that the report is not only about oil resumption in Ogoni land. He made this known in a chat with Nigeria Info FM correspondent Yobi Oruwari.
This is not just about oil resumption. It is about restoring dignity to our people. And what we have done yesterday is to say, look, our people are prepared for oil to resume, but on a very responsible way. We now need to sit down, articulate with both government, and have a process of collaboration between us and them. And on what terms will the oil resumption take place? It's not something that they have been defined, that they have said, look, we have put a timeline. Those are things that will be outcome of the engagements in the days ahead.
Mr. Mite appealed to Ogoni people to remain patient. Here is him explaining part of the report.
We went there with a report, and we are encouraged by the progress on the confidence-building measures, employment opportunities for our youth, hospitals and schools identified for innovation, work on some hospital and schools projects within a framework that will take off with the assurances we have seen. An industrial park is in the offing. These are confidence-building measures. And then we now have the main demands that were in the report yesterday.
Also, he spoke on the federal government's readiness to meet the demands of the Ogoni people.
And I think also very historic, not only for me, but for the Ogoni people. If you see the suffering that we went, it's not just about me. Almost every family in Ogoni went through periods of pain. We had people lost their lives, their limbs, communities were wiped out. And to see that somehow we have gotten to the place where we can say we can turn the pages from the years of pain to that of hope and justice and development is quite a defining moment.
From Ogoniland, let's move to Emoha, where the leader of Okmorowo Obakiri, Ward 1 in Emoha local government area, Honorable Goodluck George Ndala, has described the 6 months of emergency rule in Rivers State as a period of darkness. He said this in an interview with our correspondent. While welcoming Governor Siminalayi Fubara back to office, Ndala believes that Rivers State residents felt the true impact of the governor's leadership during his absence.
Those 6 months were, without doubt, like a period of darkness for Rivers people. Today, however, is a day of renewed hope and thanksgiving. We are happy and grateful to God that His Excellency has returned safely to take up once again the mantle of leadership. We have no doubt that He will continue where He stopped, putting smiles on the faces of our people, driving development and restoring the dignity of Rivers State.
The Emoha leader explained that development stalled, road projects were abandoned, and waste management collapsed, leaving the streets in stench. He expressed confidence that Governor Fubara will pick up from where he stopped, restore dignity to the state, and bring relief to the people. Ndala also urged Rivers people and residents to rally round the governor and support his vision for a united and prosperous state.
I therefore use this opportunity to call on all well-meaning Rivers people to rally behind our governor. Let us put aside our division and work hand in hand with him to bring his vision to life. On behalf of Ward 1 Obakere, I say welcome back, Our Excellency. May God continue to bless you with wisdom, strength, and good health as you lead us into a brighter future.
Let's now move to Eche. The Eze Eberi Ugo, the ninth of ancient Eberi Omoma Kingdom, His Majesty King Barrister Onyeka Chiamowo has urged residents of Omoma local government area to ensure equal rights and opportunities for people living with disabilities. The monarch made the call when members of the Care Foundation, a group promoting disability rights, paid him a courtesy visit at his palace in Eberi Omoma. He assured them that persons with disabilities will not face discrimination in Omoma, promising farmland during planting season and inclusion in community activities. He also encouraged the local government leadership to adopt the same approach and guarantee them their due entitlement. Leader of the delegation, Obemudia Emmanuel, spoke on the theme Understanding Disability and Disability Rights, while his deputy Ruth Chibe highlighted challenges faced in River State and suggested solutions. Other dignitaries at the event included members of the Omoma Council of Traditional Rulers and Chiefs, as well as monarchs from neighboring communities. Traditional rulers Chief Joshua Okala, Chief Blessing Wafo, and Chief Luke Weke echoed the Eze's call for equal rights and urged wider adoption of the practice. From Eche, let's go to neighboring Imo State, where an explosion has killed a man in Obiwanne community in Jaba local government area. Viral clips show the victim, identified as Chinworeke Mado, in pain with severe leg injuries, as residents allege he was attempting to plant a bomb in a nearby market. The Imo State Police Command confirmed the incident, saying the explosive went off prematurely while the man was carrying it. Police spokesperson Henry Okoye says 2 passers-by were also injured and taken to the hospital for treatment. He adds that operatives have restored order in the area, with further investigations ongoing to uncover the victim's motive. Still to come, a high-powered ADC meeting involving a former River State governor and a vice president took place last night. We will tell you all about that meeting after this break. Do stay with us.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back. It's time to talk health matters. As debate over genetically modified organisms continue in Nigeria now, an agricultural expert, Dr. Ifechukwu, has dismissed fears that land cultivated with GMO seeds become unproductive for future planting. Dr. Okidim, an associate professor and head of agricultural economics at Rivers State University, made a clarification while contributing to the ongoing discussions. He acknowledged that the Ginger Farmers Association had raised such concerns, but says in his experience as a farmer, he has never observed that situation.
I had a couple of GMO tomato and planting, and when I plant the tomato and harvest, I also planted pepper. I also planted okra. I've never seen that. Currently, I'm planting tomato, and where I'm planting tomato, I have 28 stands of pepper, and the pepper is doing extremely very well. I just did that for experimental purposes. So I don't know who is flying these kites. For what I know, it's not correct. Like, for instance, if you plant TMC back at 419, that is the latest cassava breed now. Harvest it, plant another thing, it will still grow.
Dr. Okidem added that the real issue the public should worry about is whether GMOs are safe for consumption. He advised farmers to always prioritize local seedlings over GMO varieties.
Local orange is still good. They bear fruit, they are good. So let us continue with our local. So continuously going back to the company to buy their product is where the problem is. And our companies here, our local research institutions are not doing enough to give us this cheap. This tomato that I tested is not good for human consumption. What are they waiting for? Where are our food scientists? And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to advocate that our local seeds should be there. They're cheaper and you can recycle them.
The GMO debate remains divisive in Nigeria, with farmers, policymakers, and scientists holding different views on its impact on food security and the environment. To national stories now, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi on Thursday attended a closed-door meeting of African Democratic Congress coalition leaders in Abuja. Atiku confirmed his presence in a post on X describing the gathering as a movement against oligarchs who promote poverty and insecurity. Discussions focused on uniting the opposition and harmonizing strategies ahead of the 2027 elections. The meeting was chaired by ADC National Chairman and former Senate President David Mark. Nigeria Info gathered that the coalition resolved to suspend effort to register the proposed All-Democratic Alliance and directed members to quit other political parties for full ADC commitment. It also agreed that all presidential aspirants will back whoever emerges from the primaries, with dates for Osho and Ekiti governorship primaries to be announced soon. Other dignitaries who attended the meeting are former Kaduna Governor Nasir El-Rufai, former Sokoto Governor Aminu Tambuwal, and former Minister of Digital Economy Issa Pantami, and former Kwara State Governor Abdul Fatai Ahmed. A notable absentee was Labour Party's 2023 candidate Peter Obi, but he sent apologies and pledged loyalty to the coalition. Nigeria at 65, all hands on deck for a greater nation, is the official theme for this year's Independence Day celebration. This is according to an announcement by the federal government. Now, Director of Information and Public Relations in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Shegu Imohiosen, says the theme highlights the need for unity, collaboration, and patriotism among government institutions, the private sector, civil society, and citizens to drive peace, prosperity, and progress. He adds that the choice of theme also reflects Nigeria's resilience since independence. In security matters now, the Defense Headquarters says troops have killed dozens of terrorists, arrested more than 120 criminals, and rescued 41 kidnapped victims in the past week. Director of Defense Media Operations Major General Marcus Kangie told newsmen in Abuja on Thursday that the operations were carried out between September 14 and 22nd. He said the operations took place across the northeast, northwest, north central, south-south, and southeast. Nigeria has reaffirmed support for a two-state solution to the crisis in Palestine. Vice President Kashim Shettima, speaking on behalf of President Bola Tinubu at the 80th UN General Assembly in New York, condemned violence against civilians in Gaza and said peace can only come through recognition of Palestinian statehood alongside Israel.
We do not believe that the sanctity of human life should be trapped in the corridors of endless debate. That is why we say, without stuttering and without doubt, that a two-state solution remains the most dignified path to lasting peace for the people of Palestine. For too long, this community has borne the weight of moral conflict. For too long, we have been caught in the crossfire of violence that offends the conscience of humanity. We come not as partisans, but as peacemakers. We come as brothers and sisters of a shared wall, a wall that must never reduce the right to live into the currency of devious politics.
He also called on the assembly to address instability in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, warning that the exploitation of critical minerals without local value additions continues to fuel conflict and inequality. And now we move straight to business. The national president of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Abubakar Maikandi, has appealed to the management of Dangote Refinery to extend its direct petrol delivery policy beyond the 12 states currently benefiting. Mr. Maikandi made the appeal in a telephone interview with our correspondent Soyibi Oruare. He speaks on how IPMA members are responding to the Dangote Refinery's direct market sales.
The loading didn't affect our organization business. We are in the business with Dangote. Some of his trucks has already started loading the product to do direct delivery. Some of my marketers have started receiving that direct delivery. Only what we are appealing, we went to a situation whereby he will add more states. Instead of only 12 states, let him increase the other states so that the other state too will start benefiting. No, Port Harcourt is not part of the state that he shortlisted. Let him increase the volume of the trucks to other states.
He noted that IPMAN members are not losing patronage as a result of the new policy and explained that petrol prices in the affected states have already begun to drop.
The way he has been doing is good and the masses are happy. Any station that they discharge that product, you will see masses will queue and see how they can be able to get the product there. And he deliver with that particular, the way he has been selling inside his depot. That is how he has been delivering to the marketers. The margin that he give is okay. People are getting their margin. So with the margin that he allowed people to sell their product is okay.
We go on another short commercial break. Former FBI Director James Comey on 2 charges of lying to Congress about authorizing the leak of classified information. Comey, who has often faced criticism from President Donald Trump, pleaded not guilty and said he has confidence in the judicial system. The case is being led by U.S. Attorney Lindsey Halligan, a former lawyer for Trump, with arraignment set for October 9 in Alexandria, Virginia. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the indictment shows the Justice Department resolved to hold officials accountable for misleading the public. And now we move straight to sports. Barcelona put pressure on league leaders Real Madrid after coming from a goal down to beat newcomers Real Oviedo by 3-1. Oviedo went into the break with a shock 1-0 lead before Eric Garcia, substitute Robert Lewandowski, and Ronald Arajul scored second half goal to get the win. The sports gang will be here with more details from 7 a.m. That's the news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. We brought you various reactions about the submission of report by Committee on Ogoni's consultation. We also told you about the electricity workers' strike, which has resulted to a nationwide blackout. And we reported that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi attended a high-powered ADC meeting. You also heard how a man died in Imo State while attempting to plant bomb in a market. The news was edited by Ufoma Ebamono. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili. Many thanks for listening.